So let's begin today in a standing position toward the back of your mat. And you don't have to focus too much on how you're standing right now. Maybe just get some wiggles out. You can roll out the ankles, coming onto the toes and rolling the ankle around. Maybe closing the eyes, just starting to feel settled in your space. You can shake out the hands. And shake out the arms. Maybe you take turns kicking each leg. Let this be your time to release anything you brought with your mat to you that you don't need for the rest of practice. Let some big exhales take away anything you don't need. Doing any shaking that feels right for the next 5 breaths. Maybe jump up and down. 3, 2, and 1. Let's find some stillness when you're ready. Let the eyes close if they're not closed already. Let the breath start to catch up with the body. Relax your forehead. Relax your eyebrows. Just let your jaw hang heavy as you let the tongue fall from the roof of the mouth. Feeling the cheeks soften. Feel your chin become a little bit heavier, just adding some length to the back of your neck. Feel your heart proud and expand as your shoulders fall away from the ears and the shoulder blades come slightly together and down the back. Your palms can face forward, fingertips reaching toward the ground. Feel your tailbone reaching straight down, feeling how that adds length to the low back. Have a micro bend in the knees and feel your inner thighs pull in and up toward each other, firing up the muscles in the legs. And then if you lift the toes, feel the 4 corners of your feet. Maybe shifting the weight side to side and forward and back. And then letting each toe grip down, trying for 1 at a time. Probably not getting there. Just starting to feel each toe's individual muscles that they have. That your feet are actively reaching into the ground. Drawing the energy up through the soles of the feet. Finding that center balance, the weight evenly distributed between the 4 corners of both feet. Start to notice the breath once again. On your next inhale, sweep both arms up and over your head. Getting some extra length in the sides of the body. Notice if your ribs start to flare open, if you start to have an arch in your back, and start to tuck your ribs back under. So you're keeping all the length in your spine. With the fingertips reaching higher, start to pull your shoulder blades together and down your back, feeling more length in the arms. So the shoulders and the fingertips moving in opposite directions. Still feeling rooted through the feet. And now feel that line of energy you're creating from the outside edges of your feet through the side bodies, all the way through the armpits and the fingertips. As you breathe in, feel your lungs and ribs expand. Feel the bottom of the ribs coming a little bit further away from the hips. Maybe take some circles with your wrists, circling them in both directions, maybe wiggling out the fingers. And then interlace your hands and bring your palms to face up toward the ceiling. Inhale, reach the palms up a little further. And then exhale, reach the arms over to the right as you look to your left. Feeling this nice side body stretch through the left side of the body. Each inhale, find some more length. And each exhale, bend a little deeper. Breathing into your left rib cage. And inhale, come back to center, reach both arms up. Palms reaching up. And then exhale, reach the arms over to the left as you look off to the right. Maybe the arms are starting to feel tired, just breathing into them. Breathing into the right rib cage. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bend a little deeper. Inhale, reach back up to center. And exhale, bring your arms down by your sides. Shake them out. Let them go. Now we'll move through some half sun salutation. So as you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, hinge at your hips and dive forward to your forward fold. And since this is our first forward fold of the practice, just bend your knees as much as you need to let your belly rest on the thighs. Let your head dangle, let your whole torso be heavy. Your arms are either resting on the floor or you can grab opposite elbows if that feels better. Take big exhales here and breathe into wherever you're feeling this the most. Maybe it's mostly in your spine, maybe in the low back. Maybe you're feeling this more in the hamstrings. Even if the knees are bent, you can still feel this in the hamstrings quite a bit. And then just start to shift your weight forward and back. So coming more onto the heels, coming more onto the balls of the feet. And then finding that middle ground. So the weight is pretty even. And now just imagine a string at your tailbone, lifting your seat a little bit higher. Feeling yourself hinging a little deeper at the hips. Take 3 more exhales here. One more big breath. And then inhale to your halfway lift. So lengthen the spine, flat tabletop in the spine. And feeling the space between your sternum and your navel expanding. And then exhale, release down, forward fold. Inhale, slowly roll yourself up to stand, reaching your arms out and up at the top. And exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through that a few more times. Inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now we'll do the same thing, but add in a slight back bend. So inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms, open the heart. So feel your shoulder blades draw together down your back. Your elbows are coming to shoulder height and your palms are facing away from you. Feeling this expansion across the heart center. A slight bend in your knees, just to not hyperextend the legs at all. Feeling the expansion across the heart as the Backs of your hands and your elbows come closer together behind you. And then inhale, reach up, palms face each other. Exhale, dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat spine, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, root to rise, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach. Exhale, one more time. Swan dive all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, reach up. Exhale, cactus the arms, open the heart. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Pause for a moment here. Feel your heart beat into the thumbs and feel your thumbs beat back into your heart. Each point of your palms beating into each other. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today. Making note of how you feel in this moment. And then as you're ready, inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, swan dive all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release. Plant your hands down and just walk them forward, coming right into your downward facing dog. So if you look at the hands, they're about shoulder width distance with your pointers facing forward, pinky slightly out, thumb slightly in. Rooting down into the base of your pointer finger the most, and then also in the base of your thumb, the base of your pinky, the heel of your hand, and your fingertips. Maybe adjusting your stance, walking your feet back a bit, walking them forward a bit, just finding that right distance for you. You can keep your knees pretty bent here, and just focus on lengthening your spine as much as you can. So lifting your hips as high as possible. Pulling the navel up to the spine, lengthening the low back. Triceps rolling in and up toward the ears. Your gaze is between the feet, the neck and the head and the face are relaxed. Maybe you start to put a deeper bend in each leg one at a time, getting into the hamstring of the opposite straight leg. Walking out your dog. Feeling free to take any movements at all that feel right for you here. And then very slowly, you can start to bend your knees as you shift your shoulders to come over your wrists, bringing your knees to hover above the mat. Pull the navel up to the spine, lift the back of your heart for 5, 4, 3, 2. Lift your hips back and up, straighten the legs, downward facing dog. Inhale, bend the knees, shift your shoulders over wrists, knees come to hover. And exhale, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, coming forward, knees hovering in a tabletop. And then exhale, back and up, down dog. Once more. Inhale, come forward, knees hover. Exhale, lift back and up, down dog. Inhale, come forward, knees hover. And then just let your knees find the mat. Coming into a tabletop, you can bring your wrists right underneath the shoulders, hips or knees are right underneath the hips. When you look back between the legs, the toes are hidden behind the thighs. Rooting into the hands in the same places as in down dog, feeling how the palms are slightly lifted. You have a suction-like grip against the mat. And then rooting down in the tops of your feet and your shins, feeling how that activates your core. Keeping a micro bend in the elbows, And paying attention to that straight line you're feeling from your tailbone through the spine, the back of the neck, and the crown of the head. And inhale, drop your belly down, lift your gaze, lift your tailbone to cow pose. Slightly bending the elbows, pulling the heart forward and through, shoulder blades coming together down the back. Exhale and to your cat pose. So tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, pull the navel to the spine, lift the back of your heart, push the ground away from you. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, lifting the tip of your chin away from the sternum. Then exhale to your cat pose. So just keep moving through these cat-cows at your own pace with your own breath. And I encourage you to close the eyes. And just take any movements at all that feel good. If you want to wag your tail, take a peek back toward either hip. Maybe take some circles with the shoulders or the hips, or just stick with your cat-cows. Just starting to feel the fluid move around the spine. Not thinking too much at all about the movement, just letting your body move for you. And then whenever you feel ready, you can find your way back to center in your tabletop. And then leave your hips over your knees, walk your hands forward and melt your heart down into your puppy pose. So bringing your forehead or chin to the mat or a block, staying actively rooting into the mat in your forearms and your hands, actively pulling your shoulder blades together and down the back, and then actively surrendering in your heart center, letting your heart become heavier with each exhale, letting it come a little bit closer to your mat. Breathe into the back of your heart, the space between the shoulder blades, for 3 more rounds of breath. And then from here, just shift more weight into your left arm as you bring your right arm underneath your left with the palm facing up, coming into a thread the needle. So you bring your right ear and your right shoulder to the ground. You can keep your left arm reaching forward if this feels good. Or also option to bend your left arm, bringing the hand in front of the face, and pushing into that hand, deepening this twist a little bit. Or you can even bring your left hand back behind your back. Just getting this really nice shoulder stretch. Just letting your right shoulder rest on the mat, letting your right ear rest on the mat. And keeping your hips over the knees. So you might feel that they're shifting to the left. So just bringing them, taking a peek back, bringing them right over the knees. A few more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can reach your left arm forward again if you moved it. Start to unwind your right arm, reaching that one forward again, coming into your puppy pose. And then we'll take that to the other side. So shifting more weight into your right forearm, bringing your left arm with the palm facing up underneath the right. Left shoulder, left ear come to rest on your mat. Same options over here. If you want to keep more length in the body, reaching forward with your right arm, you can stay here. Or option to bend your right arm, pushing into the ground with that hand, deepening a little bit. Or bringing it back behind your back. Deepening the breath. Noticing how this feels. Maybe one side feels a lot different than the other. That's normal, it's okay. A few more breaths here. And then you can begin to unwind. Reach your right arm forward toward the front of your mat again. Unwind your left arm, reaching forward back into puppy pose for 2 more exhales, evening out the shoulders. And then from here, just let your hips become really heavy as you come back into your child's pose, letting the hips sink down toward the heels. Maybe you make a pillow with your hands, rest your forehead there. You can shake your head no, side to side, massaging the forehead. Just release any holding in the spine. Let the hips just sink closer to your heels. Then whenever you're ready, you can reach the arms forward once again. Feel like you're dragging the floor toward your knees as you bring yourself up through a tabletop. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Take 3 deep breaths here. Notice any changes in the shoulders. And then bend your knees, look up between the hands, and start to walk your feet up to meet your hands. Once you arrive, inhale to a halfway lift, so tabletop in the spine, hands can rest on the shins. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Taking this moment, checking back in with yourself. And when you're ready, you can inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Plant your hands down, leave your right foot where it is, and step your left foot back to a lunge position. So your front foot, your knee should be right over that ankle. Your back heel should be reaching toward the back of the room as your hips sink forward and down. So you get a really nice stretch in your left hip flexor, the front of your left thigh. If the ground feels too far from you, grab some blocks or books or anything you might have for a little extra height underneath the hands. If this feels really bad on your back leg, you can allow that knee to drop down. You can untuck the toes into a low lunge. Wherever you are is fine. We're just going to take a lunge twist here. So leave your left hand where it is. Inhale your right arm out to the side and up. So your heart is opening to your right. Keeping your front knee over the front ankle. Twisting from your navel. So pulling the belly into the spine, finding more space to twist. And then lift up and out of your left shoulder and out of your left wrist. You're not dumping weight into that arm. Your arms should be equal length. The chest should feel expansive here. Then exhale, release your right arm back to frame your front foot. Step your back foot into warrior one leg, so your back toes are facing the front left corner of your mat. And then inhale, rise your arms up to your warrior one. So your feet are in separate train tracks. Hips are square. If there were headlights on your hips, they'd be facing forward. Arms can be reaching straight up. Palms can be facing each other. And you might feel a slight scissoring action of the hips. So you might feel like your right hip's coming back and your left hip's coming forward, just to even them out. The 4 corners of both feet should be flat on your mat. So if you need to, you can widen your stance. You can shorten your stance. However your stance needs to be so that your feet are flat on the mat, even the outside edge of your back foot. And your hips are square to the front, your front knees over the front ankle. Feel your tailbone reach straight down, tuck down. As your navel pulls in, find more length in your low back. Feel how that deepens the stretch in your left hip flexor. Feel the bottom of your ribs separating from the hips, a little bit more length in the side bodies. And then bring your hands to your hips as you reach into the ground with your right foot, slowly straightening out your right leg. Inhale, lift your heart toward the ceiling. Exhale, hinge at your hips to your pyramid pose. So you can keep the hands on the hips, leading with your heart reaching toward your right big toe. Or you can bring your hands down to frame your front foot or to blocks, getting into your right hamstring. Wherever you are, feel your right hip pulling back, left hip pulling forward, and feeling the space between your left hip and your right hip and your right heel. The back of your right knee is bright. You can always adjust your stance here if you need to too. If your hips start to become uneven, just step your back foot in until they can be even. Take 3 more breaths here. Let's rebend your front leg and inhale, reach your arms back up, warrior one. And then exhale, bring your hands down, frame your front foot, and step your back foot up to meet your front foot, landing in a halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. And plant your hands down and step your right foot back to a lunge. So leaving your left foot at the top of your mat. Left knee is now over the left ankle. Right heel is reaching toward the back of your mat. Again, you can bring blocks or books underneath your hands. And the hips are sinking forward and down. So now getting into your right hip flexor. Let your heart be proud here. Then you can leave your right hand where it is on the inside of your left foot and inhale your left arm out to the side and up so your heart opens to your left. Keeping your back leg active here. So keep the back of your right knee reaching toward the ceiling. Your heel is reaching toward the back of the mat. Your left knee is over the front ankle and you're lifting up and out of your right shoulder and your right wrist. Arms are equal length. Pull the navel into the spine, twisting from your belly. A few more breaths. And then exhale, release your left hand, framing your front foot. Step your back foot in to warrior one leg, so your right toes are facing the front right corner of the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up, warrior one. So adjusting your stance as you need to, hips are square to your front, rooting into the four corners of both feet. Front knee stays over that front ankle. Tailbone tucks down, reaching straight down. Crown of the head reaching straight up. Feeling a nice stretch in the right hip flexor. Breathing here. Let your shoulders relax. Let the fingertips reach higher. And then bring your hands to your hips. Reach into the ground with your left foot, slowly straightening out your left leg. Inhale, lift your heart toward the ceiling. Exhale, hinge at your hips, pyramid on your left side. Same options here. You can leave the hands on the hips if you like this. You can bring them down to frame your front foot. And you can always adjust your stance. Wherever you are, make sure the hips are even. Your left hip is pulling back, feeling the space from the left hip and the left heel. Let your heart reach toward your left big toe. Breathe into the left hamstring. Each inhale, see the breath traveling to the left hamstring. And each exhale, let that breath spread, disperse, and release the left hamstring. Two more breaths. And you can rebend your front leg. Inhale, sweep the arms up, warrior one once again. And then exhale, bring your hands down, framing your front foot. Step your right foot to meet your left at the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let's pause for a moment here in forward fold. Maybe the hamstrings feel a little bit looser. Maybe not quite yet. Feel your tailbone lifting a little bit higher as you let your head become a little bit heavier. Two more breaths. And then slowly start to make your way up to stand. Reaching your arms out and up at the top. And exhale, hands to heart center. Pausing here. Letting the blood settle back into the body. And then we'll get deeper into the hips this next time around. So whenever you're ready, you can inhale, reach both arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Now heel toe, bring your right foot to the right edge of your mat. And then step your left foot back. So coming back into a lunge, but this time a wider lunge. So your left foot is still in line with the left hip and your right foot is wider than your right hip. And your hands are on the inside of your right foot. So your hips might feel really lifted here. Do what you can to let your hips sink forward and down. If that doesn't feel possible for you to do, you can lay on your back and come into a reclined version of the same posture, into a half happy baby. So you can grab the outside edge of your right foot and pull your right knee toward your right armpit, keeping your left hip firm on the ground. This is the same exact posture, just a little change in gravity. And then letting your back knee come down to the mat, untuck the toes. If this is really tough on your back knee, bring a pillow underneath there, or a blanket, or double up your mat. And you can also root more into the top of your back foot or into the toes, and that takes some pressure off of the knee. We're coming into this lizard pose, so slowly just letting your hips accept this posture a little bit more. You might feel this very intensely in the left hip flexor, maybe the front of your left thigh, or the inside of your right hip. Wherever you're feeling this the most, sending your breath there. Your right toes can also face slightly out to about 1 o'clock. That is fine. And you can totally stay up here. You can come onto blocks if you need some more height. Or option to come onto the forearms. You can come onto the forearms on your blocks or on the mat, whatever's available to you. Let's take 5 really deep and full exhales. Each exhale, let your hips become a little bit heavier. Let them expand and accept a little bit more. Let your shoulders relax. Let your forehead relax. Release your jaw. Nothing else you have to be doing right now. Just let yourself be in this pose for 2 more breaths. And then slowly begin to come onto your hands. Start to lift your sit bones back and up, straightening out your right leg. And then heel toe your right foot in line with your hip, coming onto the right heel. Then letting your right toes reach toward your shin. Feel your right hip pulling back, stretching out that right hamstring again. Maybe able to come a little bit deeper since this is our second time on this side. Letting your heart reach toward your right big toe or toward your right shin. And then heel toe your right foot to the left side of your mat, and we'll come into a pigeon pose. The right foot, the top of the right foot or the outside edge of your right foot comes to the mat. As you bring your hands in front of that shin and bend your knee, bringing the knee to the right side of your mat to your pigeon pose. If this hip is really lifted, you can slide a pillow or block underneath for more support if it is bothering you. And you can stay lifted here if you want for some time, or you can come into sleeping pigeon onto the forearms, maybe stacked fists, wherever it feels right. And if pigeon doesn't feel possible for you today, then you have the option to lay on your back into a reclined pigeon. So bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet to the ground, bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh closer to the knee. And this might feel good for you. If you push your right knee away from you, if you want to come a little bit deeper, you can raise your left toes off of the mat and grab the back of your left thigh. So you're bringing your right ankle closer toward you and your right knee further away from you. So you can do those on both sides if lizard and pigeon don't feel nice in your body for today. And very slowly, we'll start to make our way out of this pose. You can start to come on to your hands. Tuck your back toes under and scooch your knee up. And kick your right foot back to a three-legged tabletop to shake out that leg. Perfect. Tuck your toes. You can bring your right knee to meet your left. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips back and up, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look up and step up, halfway lift. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Now heel toe your left foot to the left edge of your mat, coming into that wide lunge again. Plant your hands down, step your right foot back into your lizard pose. And once again, you can take this same pose on your back if that feels better. Just letting your hips be heavy, sinking forward and down. When you're ready, allowing your back knee to drop down, untucking the toes if that feels better. Breathing into your right hip flexor, into the inside of your left hip, maybe coming onto the forearms. Your left toes can be pointing toward 11 o'clock, if that feels better. Breathing here. 5 breaths. And then slowly, when you're ready, you can come back onto your hands and slowly lift your sit bones back and up, straightening out your left leg. You can heel toe your foot in line with the hip, pausing here for a hamstring stretch. Feeling your heart and your toes reaching toward your shin. Back of the knee reaching toward the mat. When you're ready, you can heel toe your left foot off to the right side of your mat, coming onto the outside edge of that foot or more the top of the foot. Bring your hands in front of your shin. Put a bend in your left knee, coming into pigeon pose on the other side. Again, option to do the reclined version. Maybe staying lifted for a breath or two, and then coming to lay down when you're ready. We'll slowly start to make our way out of this pose just by coming onto the hands and tuck your back toes under, scooch that knee in, and then kick your left foot back. Three-legged table, shake it out. And then bringing your left knee back down to the mat, tuck your toes under, lift the hips back and up, downward facing dog. Bend the knees, look up and step up, halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Start to make our way down to our seat. So step your feet wider, as wide or maybe a little wider than your mat, wider than your hips. Toes are facing out, coming into a yogi squat or malasana squat. I like to get into this by bringing hands to heart center. Hinge at your hips as you bend your knees and bring your elbows to the insides of your knees. And then sink your hips down as you lift your heart and your head up. If you need some support, you can bring a block underneath your seat, a pillow, anything you got. And just feel your heart lifting into the thumbs and feel your thumbs pushing back into the heart. The palms and the fingers pushing into each other, and that pushes your elbows into the insides of the knees, opening up the hips a little bit more. Breathing. And then turn your fingertips to face forward. Reach the arms forward as you slowly sit your hips on the floor. Bring your toes forward and lift the toes off of the mat. We're going to come right into a boat pose. So you can grab the backs of your knees here if you feel this deep enough. You can bring your shins parallel to the mat, arms reaching forward, but let your heart be proud. Let your heart reach toward your thighs. Feeling this fire up the core. Always option to straighten out the legs completely if you like this better. 3 more breaths. And then slowly grab the backs of your thighs, roll your spine to lay on your back, hugging the knees right into your chest, gently rocking side to side, massaging the spine, letting the body settle. Here, just keep your right knee hugged into the chest and extend your left leg long, letting it rest on the mat. You can take some circles with this knee if you want to loosen up your hip a little bit more. Give it some love in both directions. And when you feel ready, you can grab the outside of your right knee with your left hand, and exhale as you bring it across your body to a reclined supine twist. Turning your gaze to look over your right shoulder, maybe extending your right hand out to the side. Feeling this space you're creating from the outside of your left knee, through the side body, through the shoulder, through the fingertips. Twisting at the navel, so feeling the navel pull into the spine, wringing out the spine, wringing out the organs. One more breath. Gently, you can guide your knee back to center, head back to center, and hug your left knee into the chest and extend your right leg long on the mat. You can take some circles with this knee if you did that on the other side, going in both directions. And as you're ready, you can grab the outside of your left knee with your right hand and exhale as you bring it across your body. Recline twist on the other side. Extending your left arm in line with the shoulder, turning your gaze to look over the left fingertips. Each exhale, letting yourself twist a little bit deeper, letting go a little bit more. Four more breaths. And gently, you can bring your knee and your head back to center. Hug both knees back into the chest. Rock side to side, however feels good. When you're ready, you can reach your feet up to the ceiling and shake them out for a moment, and then just let them rest in your hip sockets. And then reaching the arms up to do the same, letting them rest in the shoulder sockets. You just feel the four corners of your torso, both shoulders and both hips being pinned against the mat, the entire length of your spine flat against the mat. Every organ in your belly coming closer to the ground. Releasing any sensations of holding throughout the body. Allowing. Feeling the pulsing warmth of the hands and the feet. Just a few more moments. And then when you're ready, you can bend the knees and come into your happy baby, grabbing whatever is available, the toes, the outside edges of the feet, the ankles, the shins, the thighs. Maybe rocking side to side, maybe taking turns straightening each leg, maybe straightening both. If there's any little movements that you feel you want to take to make your practice feel complete today, feel free to do so now. And if at any point you feel ready, you can let the soles of your feet find each other. Slowly lower the outside edges of your feet to find the mats. Into your reclined bound angle pose. Letting the knees drop off to the sides, rolling the sit bones back, rolling the shoulders under the spine, palms facing up by your side. Letting go. You may stay here in this pose as long as you'd like. Or if you'd rather straighten out the legs and come into your final Shavasana, you may do so. Relaxing the forehead. And then relaxing the forehead even more. Softening the eyelids. Softening the jaw. Letting the shoulders be heavy into your mat. Feeling the heart and collarbones expand. Relax the rib cage. Relax the belly. Relax the belly even more. Find more softness in your lower belly, in your pelvic floor, in your glutes. Softening the glutes even more. Feel the full length and weight of your legs. Allow all the muscles to roll off of the bones. Feel the soles of your feet, each of your 10 toes. Noticing that pulsing that exists within the feet and the toes. Feel the palms of your hands and each of your fingers. Noticing the pulsing that exists there as well. Feeling how that softens all the muscles in the arms. Your awareness back on your heart center. Tune into the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Seeing a small light that's growing in the center of your chest, coming from your heartbeat. Watch this light expanding a bit more each breath, each beating of the heart. Growing to encompass the ribs and the belly. Coming down the arms into the hands, down the legs and into the feet. Feeling this light from your heart center traveling up the neck, into the skull, out the crown of your head. Seeing your entire body encompassed by this light. Seeing your entire body encased in this healing light. Letting anything that no longer serves you exit your body through the back of your heart, through the space between the shoulder blades. Watching as this light travels to every corner of your body, getting rid of any darkness. Knowing and trusting that darkness cannot exist in the presence of this light. Just allowing it all to leave. Resting here for a few more. If you would like to stay here longer, you're welcome to turn off the video and stay as long as you'd like. If you feel ready to come out of this posture, and slowly start to notice the breath once again. Automatically deepening the breath. Then consciously deepening the breath even more. Filling up the body with each inhale. Watching the light within your body soak into the muscles and the bones, staying with you. Feeling up that passage, the back of the heart. Energizing the body a little bit more with each breath. Wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes, maybe rocking the head side to side. Reaching the arms overhead for a nice morning stretch, maybe letting out a big yawn. Bringing the knees in toward the chest as you're ready. Making your way to a fetal position on one side. And pushing your top hands into the ground. When you're ready, leaving the eyes closed for now. Finding your way back to your seat. Meeting with hands at heart center. Thanking yourself for your practice today, for taking the time out of your busy schedules for this pure act of self-love and self-care. May this act continue to heal you throughout the rest of your days. And may you bring some of this love and light to everyone in your own lives. Namaste.